15th. We had a little bit of a snowstorm this afternoon, as you know. So when things like this happen, usually we're not sure if school gets canceled. In the previous years, especially the North Campus, they usually cancel the school when there's a little bit of snow. So this time around, they didn't cancel anything. So, and the roads look pretty good. So I did come down. If this was to happen again, we can definitely do the class online, as some of you are joining me online right now. Okay, so welcome back. And I'm going to start the lesson now by sharing my screen. So here we go. All right, so my screen's being shared. The record button's on. I'm going to also activate this screen here. There we go. Teams. I'm looking at where we left off last week. We're really pushing Illustrator to the intermediate advanced level. So it's nice to see everyone come about from beginning till now. This last project that I have given you, the Illustrator banner, will really put you to the test and explore all the creative Illustrator features. This was like an example of a previous design that was submitted for this banner. This is something we did in class. Remember, we did the actual gradients and shades, and we made it look like an actual Illustrator banner. But I mean, this is entirely up to you. I'm leaving the creative on you, and you can do whatever you like. All right, as far as that's concerned. I was looking at my drive to find previous projects, and I'll be honest with you, I'm having a hard time doing that. So I'll have to go through my vault that I have in my other storage facility. Hopefully, I have it there, because it did do some cleanup. And unfortunately, these files get big. I mean, you can imagine the amount of projects I receive from students. It does take up a little space. They don't give you much on these computers, so I do have external hard drives and all kinds of medias. Sometimes the clouds get corrupted, drives get corrupted. So I hope it wasn't on one of them that happened to. So I'm hoping I can show you some other student examples. Okay. So when I do that, I'll post some online. Okay. Although I don't have any with me right now, I will show you some other ones that were existent online as well, because most of the students that I had do post their portfolio online also. And this is a good portfolio piece. Shows off your creative capabilities in Illustrator. So we did cover the gradients last week. Today, I'm going to cover some more advanced topics. And one more thing, the UI kit. Okay, so make sure you submit that as well for, I think that was due today, right? Today was the day for that. So make sure you submit that one. If you need a little bit of an extension, let me know. But, I'm sure you got enough time to get it done. So do your best. And yes, you can use this for your other class, which is UX, UI, especially XD. XD is a very good program when it comes to Adobe. You can literally open Illustrator files directly into XD, same as Photoshop, and you can do the prototyping right off the bat. Unfortunately, you can't do it with Figma. You'll have to do another conversion, like copy and paste, or you can import other graphical formats. But XD and Adobe Illustrator work really well together. Okay. So I'm sure if you can utilize the UI kit for your UX class, even better for you. All right. Um, I'm just going to go through some Illustrator. Illustrator splash banner. Yeah. Yeah, the chat, I mean, it is, but you have to go through a different set of things there. It's a different window. It's for some reason I don't have it directly here. Because I have to register every student manually with their student number and stuff. It's a lot of uh, you know, admin work on my end. And I mean, I don't even know your numbers and stuff. I'll have to collect that information. So the way you can chat, why don't you just speak up or send me a message if you want to say something? You can also chat with me right inside this other window. Okay. So you can chat with me with this window here. Let me just go back to my uh, web production techniques. Okay. So you can also give me a chat over here if you go to the message. Can you guys try that? Just send me a chat with this one. And again, we're using like Teams, Blackboard, email. There's like 3, 4 different outlets that we're using. It gets a little confusing, even for me, like answering, I got 3 other classes that I'm teaching and other things that I do. So it's really difficult to keep up with everything. The best way to get a hold of me, okay, use the Blackboard. This is I always answer my students here under messages. Okay, this is the best way. Send me a message. If you, let's say you have no attempts left on your project submission and you said, listen, I did a redesign. Can I please upload it? I'm pretty flexible as long as you're straight with me and you tell me what's happening. I will accept it with that as well. So use that as a tool with me, okay? Emails work too. But for me to use Blackboard, Teams, email, and whatever other means we have, it just gets a little stretched out and it's hard to keep up with everything. So just use the chat here, okay? It's probably better. All right. But if you have a question, please go ahead and ask me now. Anybody has a question? All right, this is the Illustrator splash banner art. So you can see some of the other previous designs that have been done. You know, you can do all kinds of different things. This reminds me of a student project that was submitted. All right, you can do like a nice silhouette. You can do what's called some of the stamps. You don't have to get so detailed like this. That involves a lot of blends and shades and different things. But all means, you can do all kinds of different you know, simplistic art forms. Okay, so I'll just, you know, do some nice illustrations and I'll leave you to it. Today I'm going to show you some other advanced, like this is like Photoshop. So don't think you can do stuff like this in Illustrator. Not that you can't, it'll just take you a longer time. So I will, something like this might work. Okay, this is more like 2D and you can incorporate different, you know, drawing methods, paint methods, you know, it's After Effects, but just give you examples here. Okay. So keep it simple. Okay. This is an actual Illustrator banner as well. It's a pretty good example. I would start, even if you have like a sketch in mind, you can draw almost anything and just start with that and make that like your, I guess, progress going forward. And you can turn that into an Illustrator banner. Look, even this one, this is like a real banner that was used in the program. Okay. I know you can do this. All right. This is not difficult. It's about the colors, the objects, the planning, the execution, right? This is the same stuff I showed my previous class. So they were inspired by looking at these kind of banners and they were able to do this stuff. See, there's another one here, another one there. It's more like Photoshop. Photoshop has banners as well. Sometimes they're very similar. Okay, this is an actual Photoshop banner from 19, wow, this is like 90, 99, 2000, I think, like the earlier years. But yeah, they always use the eye with the lens and stuff. All right, so again, all the features are here. Just make sure you follow the criteria points. So under your, you know, when you go to your main projects, application splash banner, this is it right here. Now, I have an important announcement to make. Next week is Thursday, February the 22nd. That's when this is due. Do you guys need more time? Okay, because it falls nicely with my situation because I have every year I do a winter meet. I go to the US. I'm going to be in Chicago next week. Okay, we're doing a big conference for 4 days. So I won't be here. But that doesn't mean I won't do the class. I'm still going to bring my laptop and I'm going to do like an hour session with you and help you if you have any questions. I'm going to give you that time to finish this banner and you can submit it during the work week, which is the following week is your week off. So I'm not really canceling the class, but I'm going to give you that time to finish this project and I will help you. Okay. So we'll do a little like one-on-ones and stuff. So next week, don't come here because I won't be here next week. That's why even today with the snowstorm, I'm like, oh wow, I'm still gonna come because I can't miss like 2 weeks, and then the third week I won't see you for like a month. So this way it'll be at least 1 or 2 weeks. I'll see you when I come back. Okay, so for next week, so I'll push this date over till instead of the 22nd, you have an extra week now to the 29th. And I will show you some more samples of other students. So you have a better idea how to approach this. Okay. All right, so that should keep you guys busy. And to get the UX UI kit done today, you have 2 weeks for this one. So that's a lot of time. All right, so don't forget this is the outline here. So follow these steps. There's the size 700, 500. Like if you watch last week's video, we did all this from scratch. We started with this size. We used that illustration we did with the sun, copied and pasted it, right? Speaking of the videos, I did do some updates over the weekend. So if you click on the YouTube channel, you should have all the videos up to date. Okay. The only thing is, I just realized these are duplicates. I just happened to be that way because there was no class one. Remember, class one was more like we're just introducing the class and you didn't have the software. So these two are the same. I'm going to title this week like 3, and this will be 4 and 5 or something like that. All right. Just be mindful of that. But everything else is there. They're all like 2-hour sessions. So I explain all that stuff that we need to in those videos, just like the one I'm recording right now. So I try to make these videos more direct and, more instructional. So I would like to hit record when I'm actually doing something, not just talking like this. But even this is important because students want to know information on things like I'm updating and talking about with projects and deadlines. So that's all good. Alrighty, so now let's go over to the module. I'm going to ask you to download. So this Illustrator module was pretty open this whole semester because it's a different program. It's a different structure. It's a drawing program. I have a good curriculum set up, good exercises, and trust me, by the time we finish this semester, you're going to feel that much more capable of using the program. Okay, and even if you've used it in the past, I know I have some students here that from the graphic design program. I hope this helped you also hone your skills in different areas as well. So the last thing is I want you to download these 2 files. This is called wireframes. This is called banana. The banana is a fruit I chose that we're going to retrace. As a matter of fact, maybe we'll switch it up. We'll pick a different fruit today. Today, you're going to learn how to draw like the professionals. Perfect time to give you that extension so you can create a lifelike illustration in Illustrator. In case you thought the gradients weren't enough, you're going to learn how to use the gradient mesh tool today. So download this one here, download the wireframes, and I'll show you exactly what these contain. I'm going to save this to the desktop. This is just a picture of a banana. Nothing fancy here. Right click, save image as banana. All right. I think I just clicked on that accident there. Right. If you open up the this wireframes file, that's just a reference for you to have in order to understand how. I know you're doing the UX UI class. If you want to utilize your skill to build wireframes for the other class, this is a bonus added file that I want to share with you. It's just basically creating a wireframe of a website. So you can take like look, this is CNN, like the news website. So before they build a website, they did an actual wireframe in Illustrator, or you can use other programs, but Illustrator is so much easier to make those blocks on the right side, all the grayscale. Are you guys doing any wireframes this semester? Okay, do you know when you build a website or when you build like a prototype of anything, you should do a wireframe. So maybe if those teachers are not really showing you guys or encouraging you to make wireframes, I'll do that and making sure you guys are doing this for your own good. Because you see, how can you just build a website without a plan? How do you build a house without a blueprint? You can't just go and build something. You gotta have a plan. You ever like buy furniture from IKEA? Like, how are you gonna install it if you don't follow the steps? You gotta have a plan. You gotta have measurements. You gotta have things in place. This is why we use wireframes. So this wireframe was made for that reason. And then you say, okay, I'm gonna put a video there, a picture here, a title there, text here, link here, nav bar up top, search menu, all the items that are supposed to be placed. Then you build a website accordingly. This is the one that I built. Like, I'm going to show you this actually today quickly, just to kind of, I want you to use Illustrator for more than just, like, I know you know how to make logos now and UI kits and stuff and illustrations, but I want you to think this is a web development production technique title for the class. So I want to make sure you apply more for web as well. So this is a website. This is Illustrator. Look at this. This is an actual site. You know what site this is? This is my website. I own 3 platforms: CanadianMadeProducts.ca, that's me, DentalBusinessDirectory.com, and Macedonian Yellow Pages. I got other websites, but these are the main 3 platforms I utilize to host businesses. Okay, and I provide services and all kinds of stuff. So I took my website and I made it like into a wireframe to show you how from this it becomes this. Okay, and this is all done in Illustrator. Let me show you the actual website. CanadianMadeProducts.ca. Okay, so there it is. And basically we have Canadian, it's not just Canadian, I have international businesses as well, but the whole idea was to, even during the pandemic, was to help local small businesses regain their traction with the economy. So we made a platform where people can shop and look for stuff online. These are some of my products that we do with other companies. These are like listings, articles, and stuff like that, right? The main thing is if you click on search, this is how it works. You see, this is the directory database here. You can do like card view, map view. So you can see it's not just Canada, right? But you can just zoom in and do like a map selection. You can look at businesses this way. And so of all these different ways you can find these businesses. There's about 3,893 results. That means I have almost 4,000 businesses online. So hopefully I'm going to keep building that up. I'll be honest with you, some of these businesses are not real. So I've got to vet, screen people out, and do a lot of the, admin work. But anyways, that's a given. That happens with all the platforms that you have as directories, because you got a lot of bots now signing up. It's not even real humans anymore, right? Sorry? Who's hiring? Absolutely, every time I'm hiring. Right? This is the best thing. I always look for my students for help, right? I mean, the thing is, with the hiring process, it was a lot of, after the pandemic, things froze a bit. So a lot of these projects are kind of like multifaceted. If you're gonna work for this, I would need you to do more like sales, developing business strategy, and things like that. I don't have a payroll set up just yet. Okay. But when things do get busier and stuff, I would love to hire good talent. Okay. And this is exactly what we can do later on. So yeah, this is, basically, let's not take away from my theme here. This is a website, and look, it's responsive. This is your tablet, right? This is your tablet. This is your mobile phone. Guess what I did the other day? I converted this website into an app. So I went over here. I clicked on this little icon here, which you can download. This icon launches the app, but the app considers the fact that you have a website that's responsive to convert it into an app. It's free, right? Now with free comes, things. So I'd pay for it. It's like something like a month or whatever you got to pay, but it's better than building a whole app from scratch. Why would you build an app when you can convert the website into an app? If you have to make an app, sure, there's a lot of app development sites out there. You do your prototyping in XD or Figma, you can make an app from other programs, or you can be a developer and make an app that way. But there's a lot of tools there that we can use now, especially with AI, to create these things. But it still comes down to design. Okay, it still comes down to your planning, your execution. So a website like this, the way we made it in Illustrator, okay, just to show you, I'll use this reference here, right? Now, how do we build this? So we measured it, right? So I'm going to open Illustrator quickly and show you how this was built just by going to the program, and then I'll get into advanced fills and stuff with the banner. Okay, so this will be the first segment quickly, just to show you how to do some production techniques for wireframing websites and apps. I mean, we did a lot of, I've taught the UX class before, and on the more like the development side, and students had to do a wireframe prototype. They had to do like an actual organizational chart. Okay. Like a flow chart, like this one here, like information architecture, right? Like IA chart. Okay, so this is an IA chart. Again, without this, how do you build a website? How do you build an app? You got to have a plan. So once you create the information architecture, that's what this is called, or flow chart, right? Then you create the actual wireframe. And the wireframe will span based on your planning and stuff. So this is also like, I know there's programs out there that do this, but a lot of my students use Illustrator because it's just a bunch of boxes with arrows and stuff. It's easy to make. This is not required from me, but if I was teaching you how to build a website and I was doing the design part, then I would definitely make you do one of these charts and stuff. You guys are already doing that, so you're developing stuff. All right, so let's convert this into like an actual wireframe. I know I'm doing it backwards, but let's pretend this doesn't even exist. How would you plan a website, basically, right? So you start with Illustrator, you create a new file. You can just watch me do this part and participate in the next section. It's up to you. You can also do it with me if you prefer, but I'd rather you just kind of watch and go along. This is web. Don't forget, Illustrator can create web formatted sizes. How big is the web? I like to go with the large, 1920, 1080p, just like a normal television screen, 2K, 4K, something like that. 1920, 1080p. Okay, I'm gonna hit create. And there's the artboard for that particular screen. How do you measure like websites? Like if I go to Amazon, right? Amazon has obviously the $1 trillion company, but look, even when you go to the edges, you can measure the width from here, where this gray area is, to there, and this gray area here. So it is centered, but it does have a fixed width when it comes to the content. You got lots of different blocks and columns and rows and sections and stuff, right? So what you want to do is basically you measure this. So how do you do it? You can either do Command-Shift-4, like a screen capture. You can do other things as well. I start from here and I go all the way across 1,500 pixels. 1,500 pixels. Okay, just gonna press escape. So this doesn't matter because this is responsive, right? And when you go like this, look, Amazon doesn't have a mobile version of their website. You know why? Because they have an app. They have an app, and when it detects your phone, it does actually convert. I did test it myself, right? So it does do this. And I'll show you one more funny thing because we did the view page source. I don't know if I showed you this before. When you go to the bottom of Amazon, like line 2000 or 3000, you guys know what's there? On the bottom, you ever went to the bottom of the Amazon's website? I was really bored one day, so I was just going through the code. I'm kidding. A duck that meows on the very bottom. See that? See, even these people have to have sense of sanity. Little humor goes a long way. So a duck that does meow, right? So that's what they put on the bottom of Amazon's structured code. It's like a comment tag. It's like a tagging your property, right? So now that we measured it, it's 1,500 pixels. Let's measure my platform. Mine kind of goes all the way across. So it doesn't really have a measurement rule, but it does kind of have this area here. But I'll tell you right now, it's around maybe 1,400. Let me just see here. From here to there. This is like a standard size, about 1,200. Okay, so you can kind of use that one as well. Most websites have that similar stretch. Okay, so that's why this size fits most websites. You can just stick with the 1920 by 1080, and then you can orchestrate your information from there. Let's say your client picks a website and says, I want it to look like that. Like, all right, so let's just, because most websites look similar, okay? They'll have like a nav bar, a search bar, like a hero banner, a carousel, okay? Some sections. You just pick different colors and products and images. That's why people use templates. They use a template and they just drop stuff in there and change things around, and there you go. That's like the smart way to make one. Of course, you're learning good things. I'm not taking away from doing it from scratch because that's the best way to learn. But when you get smart, you're going to use both. You're going to get a template and you're going to have the skill set to mess around with it. Okay, that's how you become more productive. Or if it tells you to build a website from scratch, you build it from scratch. Depends on what's demanded from you. So that's the good part of you learning how to build websites from scratch and using code techniques. So let's go ahead and So if I was to like screen capture this, just to kind of give you an idea, I'm gonna hold the control key, right? Or I can even do Amazon, doesn't matter. I can go any website and just build like an actual wireframe platform for that and pitch it to my clients. Okay, so there's my screen grab, right? I'm gonna move this over here. Just doing this for reference purposes. You're just watching me do this. You don't have to do this. This is just another way to utilize Illustrator as a tool. This is my layers panel. Remember we did the tracing from last week? So you can just leave the layer alone. You don't really need to use the layers. But if you want to organize your stuff using layers, you can. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that alone. And let's build the actual prototype. So maybe I will start calling this the header. Now, in the Photoshop class, the next segment of our module, you are going to build a website with me in Photoshop, like a wireframe. So you're going to do the actual, graphics, and you're going to put the actual, the columns, the grids, the image asset exporting, all that stuff you are going to make, okay? And you're going to utilize Illustrator and Photoshop together, but mostly because it's a Photoshop class, we're going to use Photoshop for the most part, okay? So you are going to do this with me as a project, all right? It's going to help you guys in many ways. So this is the header, so I'm going to start at the top section here. We're going to use the ruler, I guess. We're going to create these, I'm going to go pixels here, pixels over there, right? You don't have to guess basically how much you're going to go in and out. You can definitely get the grid open. You can also, let me just see here. See, Photoshop has a nice column view, but if you go to the view, okay, so show grid. Now I use my shortcuts. I don't usually use these like, lengthy window clicking techniques because it's so, everyday kind of thing. So get used to these shortcuts. Command, comma, that gives you the grid. So command, comma, okay? Or command, a colon, semicolon. Okay, this gives you all those things. I don't like how these are locked. I was looking to unlock them actually. So unlock guides. We can always lock them later. Okay, so you can always move these around if you like. Right. So I could like center this and basically make my guides based on that. Right. So if I go over here, for example, just on the top, all right, I'm going to hit center, right? So I'm going to create my guides. Now, of course, you can measure the pixels and do all kinds of stuff. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're just creating a plan. You can get technical if you wish. It is Illustrator after all. You can definitely get technical and measure things like how big is this box going to be. So if I go over here and do a box like this, okay, this box here, I'm going to give it a grayscale color. Okay, the width of this box is 1382. I like even numbers. I'm going to make it 1400 pixels because if I remember correctly, that was the actual width of my website to the content part. Everything else was stretching to the full potential of the browser. It could be like 2000 pixels, but the actual, sections and information was 1400 pixels. So I'm going to hit 1400 here. The height, I like to keep also even numbers, maybe 250. Okay, so this could be the actual thing. So pretend this doesn't even exist. You can actually build a wireframe based on your sketches and plans. Look what else I make my UX students do. Wireframe sketches. I mean, we would do this even 15 years ago. We did this, okay? Without these cell phones. I would still make my students do sketches. I don't care what they did. The websites even back then looked different. We used Flash. We didn't use WordPress and all these other things now. We use Flash to make websites. HTML 2 or 3, Flash, CSS. And this is what they had to do, right? They had to do sketches. Then they did stuff like this, wireframes. And from this, we built a website. This was like a must. Okay. And then we took this drawing by hand. We went to Illustrator or Fireworks at that time. image ready, other programs that were older back in the day. Not Photoshop and Illustrator have always been around. They're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. These other programs, the Figmas, the XDs, they come and go. Figma might be around for a while too. But these other programs that come and go, like even Dreamweaver is still around. Everyone said Dreamweaver is going to go off and fall off the thing. That some of these programs just stick around for a reason. They're enrooted into the culture of design, into all these international, not just Canada, US, UK, all over the world. All right. So, anyways, you get the idea, right? We would do things by hand, and then from here we would go here and draw the actual cleaner wireframe look, like blocks and stuff. Now, wireframes should not have color. No color. No blue, red, green. No, because we don't know what we're doing. We don't know what color these people might have. If it's Desjardins Insurance, they might have like a green and a gray color background. If it's CIBC Bank, they're gonna have burgundy and yellow. We don't know it yet. So that's why we keep it grayscale and then we pitch it that way. Then we use a menu. Now you can also go to view and turn on snap to point. Okay, that could be on. I mean, I'm not going to use a snap to it, just kind of, it is annoying sometimes. So I'm going to make this menu a little darker, right? And then I have like an image here. So I'm going to use another rectangle tool. And you can also go like, you can option drag. Gonna move this. I can make things snap if I want. That's fine. So purposely just doing it. Freestyle here. I'm going to make this a little longer. This will be a different grayscale. Right. I can put an image in there after and make this actual design. And then we have the actual information going across. And this is going to be like that. All the way across like this. This, right? If you want to make the artboard longer, you simply go to the artboard tool, and that's right over here, right here on the bottom corner. Let me see if you can locate it. Artboard tool, okay? And then you can actually extend the artboard longer and shorter and build the rest of the website. You can make this a full-fledged website like I showed you earlier from the example with CNN, okay? Or whatever website you have. All right, and then we have other sections and other columns there as well. So here, perhaps I'm going to have maybe like one. Like I love XD for this too. Don't get me wrong. There's some nicer programs, but if I do like three, well, remember this, we can do option drag shift, command D. You can make the spacing even. That's the gutter, right? You can also make all three kind of collapse and do the nice 3-column division, whatever you want to create. And basically you can build a whole wireframe like this, right? Then you put the menu, the logo, like this becomes the actual logo. You can even put the logo with text saying logo. Right? Little areas like search fields and stuff you can make. This is just the tedious stuff, like you have to invest a little bit of time and, I mean, I would invest like a good hour, maybe 2 hours. I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm not gonna bore you guys and let you fall asleep on me, but you get the idea. Like basically, I would recreate this in a very, very kind of like clean, simple wireframe model, and then the client can say, "Do you want the search menu there? No, okay. What do you want to hear? Then move it there. Okay. What do you want? You want login? People to log in? Do you want members on your website? Okay. Do you want a search engine? Built back search engine? Do you want to have like a nav bar? Do you want a responsive website? These are all questions you have to ask. And you build it like this, and then you can actually go ahead and cater to that design. You get the idea, right? Okay. And then you basically save it. Putting images is easy. Look at this rectangle here. I'm just going to quickly go online and type in, hero banners. Okay, you can next segment. I'm gonna make you do more like GIF animations in Photoshop, some more image design. You do some really cool stuff in Photoshop. If you thought this segment was cool in Illustrator, which I think it's really helpful and good, Photoshop will be, I think, more fun for you because you'll be more into the groove of using these design programs. So it's a we're gonna have some fun time in Photoshop as well. Let's just use this picture here. This is a video. Let's grab this one. I'm going to right click or just an image. Okay, let's see. You want to copy this image over here. Right click. I want to save this image, copy the image, paste it. But just so you know, you can save the image, okay, to your source. And you can definitely bring images here. Just go file, place. File, place. There's my hero. Oh, it's a web page file. I think it'll still work. Will it? Sometimes it doesn't support the WebP files, but we'll see if oh, there it is. It does support them now. Okay, so this image can go into my banner here. How do I fit this in here? Like I want to fit it, I want to clip it like this. Remember? You remember like X-ray vision, Command Y. Remember you can see right through, you can zoom in, right? So you can grab this rectangle and this image. You can just hit Command Y for right now. Basically, move this rectangle in front of the picture. Let me just fill it like yellow or something so you can see it. Okay. So this yellow rectangle, I'll move it to the front, Command Shift, or just right click, arrange, bring to front. Okay. Then move this little hero banner image behind it like that. And then select the object, select the image, right click, make a clipping mask. Remember we did that with the logo last week with the circle? This works with anything. So do that. And there's the image now inside the clipping mask, right? And then you want to make some buttons and stuff, no problem. Nice and easy here, right? You can do things like home, option drag shift, look, Command D, okay? Then just change the letters around, right? This will be about, this will be services, this will be products, okay? This will be contact, right? This will be FAQ, right? Frequently asked questions. And this will be nothing, right? It's going to delete that one. So basically I can create my own menu and ultimately this can become your wireframe for your website. You can bring this to XD or Figma and then make it an interactive prototype. But next semester, when we build this in Photoshop in a more graphical sense, I'm going to show you how to export these assets and put them into HTML. So you can actually make templates for even like Wix and WordPress and your own HTML custom websites. You can just bring the stuff in there. Okay, so it's multi versatile. So I'm going to go ahead and save this right now. I'm just going to call this basic wireframe. So wireframe prototype start, because again, as long as I showed you the walkthrough how to start it, I know once you do this, you have the capabilities and skill to make this a finished website and a product. And you can make it look like a real website if you want to, right? And then open it like the good thing is once it's saved, right? Once it's saved, this is the Illustrator file. I can right click and open it with XD, right? So the good thing when you know all these Adobe programs, you can work in a huge array of combination of things. Photoshop, Illustrator, XD, Dreamweaver. Wait till you learn Dreamweaver after. I don't think that's being taught here, but it's just once you know the HTML stuff, the CSS, you can just go to Dreamweaver and just have like WYSIWYG at the same time you're building the stuff. Look, this is XD right now. Okay, so now I'm just gonna build this here. Okay, and I'll let Felicia do the rest, but basically you can look, you can still change the colors here if you want. Let's say you do want the colors, right? Right? You can make the colors. I can put a real logo in here, right? So you can basically build this website and make it real. Okay, let's make this whatever, right? Put images in here. Look, more pictures. Oops. Oh, it doesn't support these files. Let's put the banana in there. There we go, right? Right, things like that. So you can basically build your prototype. Once you're done doing the wireframe, I would suggest you use like XD or Figma to do the dressing up part, the high fidelity version. All right, so just save this as an actual XD file, and you're good to go there. So you can see you can open up right. Oh, one more thing. Watch this. Because I only made a header layer on purpose to show you how layers are recognized. So there's the group and there's the header layers. It's all in here. I think I would have saved it differently, but yeah, all the layers are here basically. You can edit each one. Okay. All right, so that's basically, again, I wanted to emphasize the importance of using your web production technique skills I'm teaching you here and be more versatile and think about, websites, think about wireframes, think about doing all this other stuff because it's part of the process of building and designing. And then, of course, you're going to create your own logos and artwork and designs and everything else that goes with it. So once you learn how to create this beautiful illustration of a splash banner, doing a wireframe is nothing. It's just a bunch of boxes, really, with different gradients of colors and grayscale stuff. To walk in the park, right? So I'm teaching you the real skills. All right. So now let's start with the actual hands-on exercise. I'm going to encourage all of you to participate with me, especially those of you that are here today present in the classroom. Those of you that are watching at home, I encourage you to do the same thing. You can also watch and do the video after. But I would like to get everybody on board. So here we go. Let's create a new file in Illustrator. We're going to go to, let's go to web, right? Large, just like the one we did, 1920, 1080. I like this one. It's a good size on the monitor and the screen, right? So we're going to go with 1920, 1080p. It creates, so we have a nice board to work with. Make my screen a little bigger here, right? And make sure your interface matches mine. If not, make sure you have your workspace set to classic, okay? This gives you the nice two columns with the properties up here, all the palettes that you need, right? Very important. I also want to show you the AI capabilities. I've been holding it back because it's still not there, okay? Especially in Illustrator. I mean, I'm working with Gemini, Google UX, Chat GPT. I'm trying different things. They're pretty good, but as far as the design programs from Leonardo to Wonder to, Photoshop and AI, like, look, you can actually go ahead and do a prompt right now. Let's build a prompt. Watch this. Website wireframe. I never tried this actually. I tried like more simple things. I typed in a website wireframe. Watch it actually work. That'd be kind of cool. Getting better though, that's for sure. There it is. How's that? You think they can take this to the bank? It's like a sketch. There's another one here, right? So it does very kind of, I mean, I can be a little more descriptive with my prompting and stuff, but it does generate vector artwork. Okay. So maybe I'll do like motorcycle. Motorcycle. It's like clip art. I mean, I can go to my clip art sources and do the same thing and get better stuff. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not putting it down. I'm sure it's going to get better. Look, this is pretty good. Look at this motorcycle clip art. I just got a friggin' motorcycle drawing in XD. I mean, in Illustrator. Okay, let's switch it to this one. Let's go to that one. Yes, this is vector. That's pretty cool, actually. It does better on some areas other than, things. Okay, so and no, you're not allowed to use AI for your project. If it's like, look, if it's like smaller things, I really want you to put your skill to it, and I can tell by using different techniques, by zooming in and looking at the paths. But I want you to do your best to do your own work. Okay, this stuff is good, but you know, yeah, it's only as good as you put it together into a visual plan and a creative montage or design. But it's pretty good, Dave. What do you think? Right? Let's try something else. Any ideas? Go ahead, throw something at me. Banana? We're doing a banana, so let's see. Banana. Everything you type in here is going to give you a vector outcome. It won't be like the banana we're going to make, though. See, it's level 1, level 2, not level 3. Not bad, okay? This one's not bad either. More like a plantain, right? Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting. It's a good time to be around or alive in this this time when we're going to be rapidly getting involved with all these different technologies with AI and stuff. It's definitely going to get exciting. Okay, so let's start with the actual. Now that we know how to generate AI art and do wireframes for websites, let's take Illustrator to the next level by using our own builds, because even the AI can't do what we're going to do right now. Okay, these are more special blends. This is how I expect you to do this on your project. So I know you're not using, you can still use AI, but you're gonna have to dress it up a bit. So this is the next step. So there's 3 types of blends. Let's understand the concept of the color blends. Let's do the 3 circles. There's circle number 1. Press D for default. That means you're gonna get a black stroke with a white fill. Okay. 1 circle here. Option drag over here. Command D. 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. Circle on the left. Our job is to make these circles look 3-dimensional as best as we can without using 3D programs. We're using 2D program. Although Illustrator does have a 3D capability built in, which I'll show you after. So what do we do with the circle here? Well, we know from last week, we can make a gradient, and that looks pretty kind of 3D. So if we go over here, everybody, look at my cursor here, like my cursor right here, right? I'm gonna go right to the bottom of the tool palette. I'm gonna click on the gradient and convert this into a gradient. And not only that, I'm going to convert it to a radial gradient. And this is something that we did last week. So radial gradient, and then I'll go to this gradient annotator or gradient tool and click from here. Like, don't follow this. Click anywhere else and drag this out so you can control the radial burst of the colors. Then you can move this around. You can do what's called like a rotate. You can expand. Just practice with this. Yeah, because this is something that you want to be able to control. You can control the blend of colors. It's only black and white, so that gives you a broad range of grayscale in between. And this is how you can do a nice 3-dimensional looking circle. This is not new. We've done this a few times, so that's number 1. Okay, so that's how you do a one type of advanced fill, which is called a gradient. Okay, the next one now. So again, make sure you select radial, not linear, right? You can switch up different things, control it with this tool, redirect it. You don't have to always catch this. You can start somewhere completely new. I can start from here and go over here. So you don't have to always follow the little handle, okay? This next one will be different. We're going to use the old school traditional blend method. Blending is really cool, actually. Blending involves 2 objects. So this one, okay? But first we have to understand how blend works. Blend works with steps. And blend doesn't like really strokes, it likes fills. So that means we should convert this to like a black fill, no stroke. So let's convert the stroke into a fill. So we'll just do a switch, right? But this white stroke will be like none. So no stroke, black fill. And notice how I'm clicking like this. A lot of you last week, I went over and I was very thorough in explaining that you got to make sure the fill is called up to the front. Otherwise, you can't. Let's say I do this and I want to throw a gradient. Like it's not going to work, right? You got to make sure the fill is called to the front and then you can throw a gradient. Otherwise, you can't do a gradient on a stroke, right? So you have to have this in front. So just for in this case, I want to make sure it's a black fill with no stroke. Just like we did one day, remember the rings exercise? We did a stroke with no fill, and we did like a thick stroke like this. Remember how we did a ring? Well, this is the opposite. This is like we want a fill but no stroke. Follow me? Right, so again, I get a few people sometimes that still struggle with the basics, and I want to make sure by now, this is, like week 6. I want to make sure everybody's on point, right? But once you have this established, even the small details, let's see what the next step is, because the next step will involve another circle. This one will be over here. It's a lot smaller, like the size of the moon compared to the earth, something like that. And this one will be white. White fill, no stroke, on top of the black circle with no stroke. So both of these circles, look, white fill, no stroke, black circle, no stroke. So they both have two opposite properties. And guess what? This is the light source. We're gonna blend this to that. This is a common thing that digital artists love to do. My former colleague, Herman, he did a whole Egyptian pharaoh. He spent 6 months drawing this thing, all in gold, using this very technique. He didn't touch a gradient tool at all. He did all blends. And he loved this technique. Some people like it's a style, different styles for everyone, right? So the way this works is this way. You have, again, two objects, no stroke. Remember that? Okay. I'm going to use this tool here called the blend tool. This tool, it's like the lone wolf. Doesn't have subtools. It's the one tool that comes by itself. A W is the shortcut. It's called the blend tool. You can see examples of it. The way it works is you click on the circle once, you click on the big black circle the second time, it's going to blend the two together. I think by default, it's going to give me like another circle. You might get something different. What'd you get? Like a nice blend? Okay, so watch this. If I double click on the tool, by default, I have specified steps. I got like one step. That means one in between the blend. The maximum is 256. So if you type in 256, because that's how many steps you can add to this, you can click OK. It's going to give you a nice smooth blend, right? And then you can literally use this. Remember the white arrow tool with the plus, the group selection tool? And that one you can kind of move it. Whoops. Which one? Oh, you don't have to solve. So basically, when you click on the circle here, double click on the blend tool, like double click, and then click on the steps from here. You got it now? What did you have by default? I'm curious what you guys had. You all had one? It's weird because usually by default it gives you all of them, but that's okay. Maybe they changed the preferences. So 256 is the maximum, and basically that's what it's going to look like. And you can do another type of artistic blend with colors in Illustrator with two objects. What's cool about this is, again, notice I'm using the direct selection tool, the white arrow with a plus on it, because you can then click on this and move it anywhere you want. See, it's pretty cool how it controls. You can actually move it even away. It's going to blend to that area, right? Let me take it a step further with you. Watch this. I'm going to turn you all into stars right now. Okay, you're all going to be stars. You're going to go to the type tool, click here, type your first initial and your first name. I'm going to do M for Milo, just a lowercase m, that's fine. Use the black selection tool, make it nice and big. I'm just taking a letter, not a text box, a letter M. I'll make it nice and bold. So this is the letter M. I'll change the color. just to throw some blue in there, right? The letter M. What I'll do next is, beside it, I told you I'm going to turn you all into stars. I'm going to change the star tool, which is located right under the objects, and just draw like a simple star. And of course, you can change any object polygon you want. Keep it like a star is fine. And this will be maybe red, just to switch it up a bit. Like an orangey red. You have the star, right? You guys okay? Did you already do this? So now watch. Blend tool. Ready? We're going to blend the M to the star. Right? Now what's cool is you can double click and you can go specified steps. I'm going to purposely type 10 steps. I want it to be more like kind of progressive. And then what I'm going to do is change I'm going to break the rules and make the stroke like another color, like perhaps maybe white or yellow. So I can see how the transformation works. Then look, I can take this and move it anywhere I want. It'll just follow it along. It's like a nice little design effect, like a transition from one thing to the next. It's pretty cool what you can do with the blend tool. Some of the other creative stuff that artists like to mess with. Now watch this. Let's say I want to put the star in the back. And then I use this direct selection tool, right click arrange, send to back. So now the M becomes the main focal point, not the star. So you can change the orientation, and it'll accustom to that. Let's say I want to change the letter M to something else. Let's say I want to change it to the letter X. Look, that became the X now. The X took over, and this is the new feature added. You can actually go ahead and change the variation of it. Right? So this is just some fun creative stuff you can do. Right? It's also technical stuff too. It doesn't have to be fun. You can really make some interesting things when it comes to designing, right? Like remember like outline mode. Watch this. Command Y. See, look, this is the spine. The spine connects this linear blend of two shapes. You don't have to do this part, but just to really push the envelope here, I'm gonna select this line here, add an anchor point in the middle, right? And I'm going to use the this anchor point convert tool and really like bend this up. You see I'm bending the curve? I can actually do that, and that'll give me like a different kind of result. And I don't really like this, but you can definitely play with the path, right? So, I mean, Illustrator is a great program. Like there's so many things I can teach you. Too bad they only gave me 7 weeks with you in this, but I'm teaching you the good stuff, okay? The stuff you're gonna find useful so you can take with you and keep learning and use this as your design tool. These are just extra things that are not really that necessary, but if you want to learn it, there's always tutorials online. Once you know the stuff I taught you, you can easily learn this other stuff. It's just different ways of doing techniques. If it helps you, if it doesn't, you don't have to even do this ever again. Professionally, I never use this for anything, honestly. You know, I've just used logos and types and stuff like that. I never had to do this in a professional level. All right, let's get back to our circles. I'll keep this here. It doesn't bother me really. This is the next circle here. Now that you know how the blend works, you know how the gradient works, what's the next possible thing we can do with the object? So the next thing we can do, right, is actually apply the mesh tool. This one also is very picky. You can't have a stroke. Just like the blend, no stroke. This one also has no stroke. So I'm gonna ask you to convert the circle to black fill with no stroke. So I'm going to switch this to a black fill. I'm going to make the white stroke 0 and the black fill is black. You can pick any base color. Like a dark color works better. Then you add highlights on top of it. So I always like to go from the darker base to the lighter highlights. That's why I chose black. Okay, next thing we'll do, this is make sure it's selected. You're going to go here and select this other tool called the mesh tool. If you press U on the keyboard, it'll take you to the mesh tool. And that one, you intersect the points inside the circle anywhere. I'm going to target the corner, the top left area. I'm going to click once and then change this color to this white swatch. Now this became the blend from the rest of the colors. So this now I can go ahead and move it around, right? And control it. I can change another color if I wish. But let's change it to yellow, right? Now this is multi-dimensional for colors. Now watch this. Be careful because this is, you guys know X and Y axis. This is the way the colors work. This intersection point of yellow controls the other colors that are black mixing with the yellow. Now, if I go along and follow the X axis like this, and I catch it over here, exactly, don't miss. If you miss, it's going to do this. Might be cool, but not my intent. My intent is to go along the X axis and do another interception. It's like playing football back in Sunday, Super Bowl there. Interception, there you go. Interception, and changes to another color, like a green, let's say, and that creates a different blend. Now I'm going to follow the Y axis down here, intercept this one here, and change it to like a nice blue or whatever, like a light blue. And then go to this other one that I haven't really addressed yet and make that one like a nice pink or something different. This is now you can see how you can blend multiple colors using this wonderful gradient mesh technique. This technique is not new. It was around for almost like 15 to 20 years now. It's not new, but it was a printer's nightmare. When we did like production work with this thing and we gave a file to the printer, all kinds of problems happen. So I think it's still problematic in that case, but you guys are not printing, so don't worry about it. But if you are printing, just be careful because it does get complicated, right? Like, look, when I press Command Y, this is like a mesh. That's how 3D models are built, using mesh objects, polygons and stuff like that. So if I press Command Y, you can see the difference, right? Now, how do you edit this further? The white arrow. Remember the direct arrow, the direct selection tool? Because that one you can actually go ahead and move this around. You can go and move this around and all kinds of stuff. You can change the color to something else if you want, right? So you can definitely go ahead and make this. This might be like a button. Who knows? You might use this for a button or something, right? Here's the problem. You can't take this. XD won't understand this. XD will only understand gradients. XD is not advanced enough to understand blends or mesh tool. That's why Illustrator is considered like the most advanced drawing program in the planet, because a lot of programs don't understand what this is. It's like a different language. Okay, this is like a foreign language that it doesn't understand. That's why it's only meant for here. I wonder what happens if I copy and paste this into XD. Let's try it. Go to XD. Here I am. I'm going to create a like a website artboard. Paste. Paste. Okay, nice. What's inside the group? A path. What's inside here? What's inside here? What's inside here? Right. Rasterized image. It's not vector. Still, I'm happy with that. It rasterized it. It made it into pixels. That's the only way it could translate the language. It's like a translator. All right, listen, I don't understand this language, but let's keep it simple. So it translated it to something else. So yes, it can do it, but look at the breakdown. So that's fine. I'm okay with that. Alrighty, so now that we know how to do all these three different amazing blends, how would we put them to use? Okay, this one we can have fun with, and this one we can make some real stuff. I want this to help you with your main project. So that's why I got a picture of a. You guys want to pick a different fruit? What fruit do you want? If you pick pineapple, we'll be here till like 2 a.m. in the morning, because pineapple has a lot of different details, right? If you pick a banana or an apple or an orange or something, it's okay. Something no textures, because textures is a Photoshop thing. I want something smooth and easy to translate. Sorry? Mango? Let's do mango. I like that. Okay. Everyone okay with mango? No one's got problems with mango? I should have brought mango juice because my friend distributes it from North Africa, and it's the best juice in the city. Mango juice. I'll bring a whole case for you next time, okay? Hopefully he's around. Let's tell him to do a delivery. The best mango juice. All right, so let's go ahead and do a mango. I'm gonna save this and put it away. We'll call this the three circles. Let's get a picture of mango on the internet. You want to make a mango like with AI, or you want to get one on the internet? It's up to you. Let's get one out. Let's get a picture off the internet. We'll just Google mango. Let's see what we get. That's nice. I like, good choice. I like the mango because it's got like a lot of nice colors. It's got like the nice green with the red and the orange mix. Very good choice. And tell you what, we'll pick like a nice hard one. Like this one has like water drops and stuff. I mean, we can do that, but that takes a lot more design detail. Let's just do like a smooth mango. Like this one, I like this one a lot. Even this one, right? Are you guys okay with that one? Can you find something similar to that and download and save it to your computer right now? We're gonna make a mango in Illustrator, okay? We're gonna make it as real as we can. So using the gradient mesh tool, and I'll teach you a very important little technique that you can learn, and that's it's really, really savvy and smart. So right click, save image as. We gotta save it. No copy and paste. I mean, you could copy and paste it, but I think saving it is better. We'll call it mango image. Okay. Just gonna pause quickly to see if everyone is okay so far. So let me know if you're having a few technical issues. I'm just gonna zoom out here. Oh, it's a WebP file. Okay, that's fine. It'll still work with the new Illustrator. Keep in mind, we can't do the little grainy textures and stuff. That involves more detail, but we'll do a great job with the colors and stuff. Like it'll be almost looking like that. And then we can maybe throw a texture afterwards. We'll see. Okay, but the main goal here is to make a beautiful mango illustration. Okay, using this unique gradient mesh tool. So I'm just gonna address my students online. Let me know if you're ready. If you're just watching me do this, that's fine. But if you do have a question and you're stuck and you're following me step by step, I'd be happy to treat you like you're here. So let me know, please, if you have any obstacles. Everyone's okay at home watching me today? Give me a quick thumbs up to make sure you're there. All right, good. Excellent. Thank you. All right, so that means I'm going to go to Illustrator right now. I'm going to create a new document. Okay, so because it's an artwork, I'm going to try to treat it like that. So I'll create a new, look at this. I'll go to art and illustration, right? And I'm going to make it 1280 by 1024. That's a good format for the mango. I'm going to go ahead and hit the create button. Okay, so it's that 1280, even 1000 by 1000 pixels, whatever you like. At least it's big enough for us to do an actual rendering and an execution for that. Now, the setup process is very important. So the first thing we need to do is address the layers palette. So make sure your window and layers is visible. So layers is right here. Layers F7 if you have like a keyboard shortcut equivalent to that. So layers panel. I'm going to make this nice and big so you can see it under panel options. I'm going to change it to large. You don't have to do this, but not that it makes much of a difference, but it's a little bigger, right? Here's where I'll place the mango. And when I say place, I mean exactly that. File, place, Command Shift P. Here's the mango. Make sure the link is off, not on. This way it'll become embedded in your file. If it's on, it's going to act like a link, like a web link on a website. So we want it to be part of the file. We can always delete it later. So just leave it off for now. Hit place. and just draw it out. Like basically draw a selection to position the mango's presence on your screen. Now, again, this is an Illustrator thing. So we have to do this. We have to double click on the layer that it's currently sitting on, which is layer 1. Double click, call it mango templates. So you can kind of know what it is. And with that, make it a template. See this here, template? Make it a template and dim it to 50%. That means it'll be like, like when we trace, this is same thing we did with the robots, maybe a few weeks ago with the Android logo, same thing. Last week we did the sun, same thing, a template and we draw on top of it. Same approach you should do for your splash banner project. You can dim a template and trace it on top. So make sure this is on, this is dimmed, press OK. And this now, look, it's stuck. You can't move. It's like taping it on the window and you can trace right on it. In addition to this, I'll make a separate layer. Yeah. Let me make sure everybody got this, okay? Plus I need to stretch my leg. Done this magical stuff, right? Like the mesh tool? Is it a lot or just something? I did that for. Not the background, nice, good, good. Mesh tool, nice. Good trade, right? Yeah. Good stuff. Everyone's okay here? Okay, figure it out, perfect, okay. Like careful, like don't open this up. Some of you don't do this and make this into a back because this is part of that. Just make the whole layer a template, right? So don't get too much, expand the image and stuff. Just keep it basic, okay? And then create a new layer down here. Look at this. See my cursor right here? This creates a new layer. Create new layer, and this is what we're gonna draw the mango to. Layer 2. This is gonna be the drawing, okay? The drawing is gonna be there. And that's going to be a normal layer. So we have a template and a normal layer. Why we're doing templates? Because if you put on your extra vision glasses, if I go to view outline, you can still see the mango. Otherwise, you can't see it. Only this view, this special mode in Illustrator works. Nothing else works. So keep it back to normal because you won't see much of a difference. Just make sure it's back to normal, right? And now you can close the layers down, okay? So you have a separate layer, everybody, yes? Separate layer. This is a template. Close this palette because we need space. I'm gonna move this over with the space bar, move the tools over here so I have that nice space to work with, like that, right? This space has to be accessible for something very special to come, okay? But first I need you to create a shape. And the shape, the best one to start with any type of transformation is a rectangle. See, rectangle has 4 coordinates, 4 points. But with those 4 coordinates, you can make many. So what you're going to do is you're going to start here. Look at my mouse right here in the corner. I'm just going to draw a rectangle, trapping my mango like this. I have a white rectangle, basically. Doesn't matter what color it is. And you're going to put on your extra vision glasses right now by pressing Command Y or Control Y, okay? Command Y, you should see a black border outline. with the mango in the back. Then you can use the selection tool and trap the mango to the edges of the bounding box of this rectangle. Basically, it's going to be like this. Trapped cleanly inside. Okay. And then you're going to go to Window, and you're going to open up a very special palette called the Navigator. The Navigator, right down here. The Navigator, you're going to move it over here to the right. You're going to blow it up as big as you can. Like when I say big as you can, I mean like that. Navigator. This navigates your design. Just be careful. Don't try to click here. Just stick with this. This is just a preview. This is like having a split screen on your television. This window will give us a render view while we're working on outline mode. It gives you the best of both at the same time. It's like using, I don't know, you guys using Visual Studio in coding? You can see your code here and your website here. At the same time, it's like a live update. Same kind of deal, but this is done in rendering an object in 3D or with the mesh tool with the results over here. Because we can't go like Command Y all the time. Basically, this gives you this version while working on this version. Now, the important thing is we select this rectangle here. You're going to use the eyedropper tool, and you're going to sample the darkest color, whether it's the green, the red, or the yellow on your mango. I'm going to go with this nice deep red right here. See this deep red? I'm going to catch that one like that. And basically, I'm going to get a burgundy looking rectangle on the right side. So if I press Command Y, it'll look like a burgundy rectangle, but I don't care about that. I want to stay in this view while I keep my eyes on that one. Make sure I'm up to date with what's happening, like live preview. Let's save this too, so we have a nice starting point. And if we mess up, we can always come back and do it again. So I'll do a save as, and we'll call this Mango Gradient Mesh. We'll save it as an Illustrator file. The reason why we did a rectangle is so we can trap the coordinates perfectly. Notice how I stayed away from the pen tool, and like that's for other things. It's good for other stuff. The rectangle is what you want. Okay. Sometimes I forget my steps, and if I do, I have to start all over again. So remember, these are like very important steps. You can't switch the steps. You can't later say, oh shoot, I forgot the burgundy color. It's going to make your job twice as vigorous and stuff. Okay, complicated. So make sure you do the steps. What are the steps? So you make a rectangle surrounding your shape. You make a layer called template. You pick one of the darkest colors you want to start with. I chose burgundy. So like that's my base to start. If you miss one of these steps, later on it's gonna catch up to you and say, oh, now I gotta probably start all over again. So make sure you do all these things, okay? Very important to keep mindful of the steps. You can even look screen capture so you can kind of remember and put on your notes somewhere. I like to do that sometimes. So now we're gonna go ahead and transform this shape into a mesh object by going to the mesh tool and catching the center of the object. This is the reason why I chose a rectangle. Because what happens if you click in the middle of a rectangle with the mesh tool, you create the split. The split is those coordinates. Look what I'll do next. I'm going to go over to the right and catch it right here in the middle, do another split. I'm going to go across over here, do another split. You don't have to do too many splits. I would do like 2. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. Same thing up here. I'll do another one here, another split, and another one over here. I'm following the Y of the X axis. Okay. So I ended up with how many quadrants do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 16. 4 times 4 is 16. So I have 16 quadrants to work with. And you can add more later, but this is a good start for now. Okay. And this seems tedious, but it's a really, really powerful technique if you know how to use it. So I'm just going to zoom in closely like that with Command plus there. Make this a little smaller. I don't need this that big. Are you guys okay so far? Okay, because this next part is very, very tedious, but trust me, we'll get through it. Just follow me. So here's what you have to do, okay? You're going to use the direct selection tool. Remember that white arrow tool? So that one, not the one with the plus, the one without it. You're going to click on this point here. You're going to drag that point all the way here so it touches the mango, and you're going to control these anchor points to kind of like orient them properly in the right direction. So it's going to look like this. You're going to grab this point and move it here and fix this to look like that. You're going to move this point down here and move these anchor points this way, okay? You're going to move this one down here, okay, and do the same thing. You're going to straighten this out and this in, right? You're going to move this one down here also and do the same thing. Sometimes it's better to like, look, I'm just spreading these out. So it's a little easier to encompass all these different points. The starting is always a little weird, but once you kind of get it going, it should be pretty straightforward. You're just managing your positions on these anchor points, and you're just straightening them out. You're just straightening this out. So it's just open them up. Open them up means like 180 degrees, right? This one here, open it up. This one over here, you can spread them out. I had this one student. She was in love with Leonardo DiCaprio, and she had a picture of him, and she did all these little points, like I'm talking like 1,000. And when she was done, it looked like the real picture of Leonardo DiCaprio, the actor. You can actually do like face portraits with the same technique. Now, on top of that, you put other elements, but basically it's like knitting. You know, when you knit, I don't know if I don't knit myself, but my grandmother made me scarves and a lot of cool things back home. And she would knit sweaters. This is how detailed that is by putting little points and pixels with colors. So I'm going to go and do this as well. Okay, and the last one is here. Don't worry about the little stem. We're going to take care of that after. The actual little stem on the edge. All in all, I have this mango looking shape that's ready now to evolve into the actual mango with the color choices that we're going to be presenting it with. Okay, so this is a good start. You can see here my left side reflects my right side. And you know, like I said, the starting is a little weird. Like if I press Command Y right now, you can basically see that this is the mango shape. Okay, but you have to get there. So to get there, you have to use, you know, just move a bunch of anchor points. And I was pretty generous to stick with 16. I could have went more, but I said, you know what, 16 is enough. Once you got this 3D mesh looking mango design, you can do the rest of the problem. This is the hardest part. After that, it's yes. You remember this? Yes. Do the exact technique with the back bender.
It wasn't so complicated. I just this.
Like this. Right? Okay. What happened? It just, yeah, just grab this points and move it. Okay, tell you what, I mean, you can do a simpler version if you want. Like honestly, if this is a little too complicated, I mean, I could have done 4 quadrants, but then it won't get the details, right? But here, keep in mind, look, you got to use this white tool here. You got to grab these points. Like if this is here, right? Just drag it here and just fix these. You got to fix these other handles. You have to make sure you fix them up. You're just moving this, moving that. Like at one point, this was very hectic, but I managed to control it and I got what I got here, like this. So just do your best to trap this fruit. It's a good thing we're not doing the banana. The banana would be a lot harder, eh? Because it's like a elongated shape. The mango is more circular, so it's easier to kind of trap. Had a nice biological type of formation, like organic look, but nonetheless, it's a little easier than the other one. So just remember, it's all about these little anchor points. Illustrator is all about these little anchor points. So this is a perfect chance for you to get comfortable with them. I try it again if you want later, but okay. You want me to do it again? Oh, you're okay. All right. Okay, so now here's the good part. Here's when it gets nice and exciting, right? You can at any time intercept additional anchor points within the approximate range of area and add colors and do this beautiful, masterfully blended fruit. So for example, notice how I started with my base of being this rectangle, burgundy color fill object. Well, now I'm going to do this. I'm going to ask you to change to this eyedropper tool. You know, the eyedropper tool. You're going to pick the rect selection tool. Eyedropper tool, the rect. Those are the 2 tools you're going to use continuously back and forth. I don't know about you though. I hate clicking back and forth. I like to use a more, hands-on technique. So rather like go to this tool, right? So look, when you do this, watch the eyedropper tool, white arrow tool, right? Eyedropper tool, like do like 2, 3 times. When you're an eyedropper tool, watch this. If you hold command or control, it switches to that one automatically. Let go. See, it switches to the white arrow tool. It's just faster to go click, 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 because you're gonna do a lot of clicks. You're not gonna sit here all day going this tool, that tool. Those are the tools. You set it up. So you follow me? So I'm in the eyedropper tool, right? But I'm gonna hold control and catch this little point here. Let go of control, becomes the eyedropper, and I'm gonna catch this other color. And look what happened to my fruit. It matched the color there. I'm gonna hold control again. Catch this point. Let go of control, and eyedrop that color. Keep going. Control click. Grab this color. Command click. Grab this color. Command click. This gets faster as you get better at it. Command click. You're gonna grab all these points. Command click and command click. That's all you're doing. Same here. Look, and you pick the approximate color that's in that area. So this becomes this green, and this becomes this nice green-orange color, and this becomes this wonderful green-red color, and this is like that nice bright orange color, and this is one of these colors, and this is this color here, and yeah, eventually it's gonna come out looking nice, right? This color here. Look at that. See how the preparation is important? Because once you're done, let me just press Command Y. Ta-da! Right? Because it's the preparation. It's the way you execute easy once you get the points there, right? You just have to set it up and use the logic that's built into the program and get this done. That's why I set it up the way I did. So I taught you the most advanced practice that designers use this mesh tool to draw anything they want. Whether it's complicated, be a car, food, whatever, I like foods because they're easy. Then you can do multiple objects on top of other objects, get details. But you don't have to go that all out, right? The point is you can draw anything. And you see it's all about those little anchor points. Using layers, navigator, eyedropper, selection, color, like these are the steps that you should be able to do by now. I wouldn't do this in week 1 with you, but I'll do it in week 6, which is today. Because you're ready to do something. Right? And then if you want to do that little stem, that extra little piece on the side, that's a separate object altogether, right? So we zoom in. Let's do another review of approaching this whole thing. I'll treat this little stem the same way I treated the mango, the same step. So if you missed that one and you're gonna get caught up a bit, watch me do this again on this little object because it's the same thing. So watch this. I'm gonna use the rectangle tool again. I'm gonna draw a rectangle like this. Okay, I'm gonna use the eyedropper, catch the dark green that it's there. You can see how it's the dark green, right? I'm gonna use the mesh tool. Remember the mesh tool? Click in the center, convert it to a mesh object. Right? And do this. Look, this one I'll do a simple split. I'll do a split up here. I'll do a split up here. That's it. I don't want to go too much into quadrants. And then use the rect selection tool. And this is the part where most of you got stuck. Reconstructing the rectangle to form on your object. So I always start at the corner. So watch this. See this corner? I'm going to drag it over here. Drag this object over here. Drag this one over here. Drag this one over there. And you can always fix it later. You don't have to worry about the details. Don't worry about the details. Look, just drag this here, and drag this down here, drag this over here, drag this one out here, drag this one down there, and this one over here. See? It's coming along now. Right? And then you can fix your little points. You can then go like this and move this around, right? And this is pretty organic looking, so even if it's a little off, it doesn't matter. As long as it matches that shape, you should be, it should reflect your drawing. Look, see these little, just open them up like this, right? And there it is. It's done. I just reconverted this to match this shape. Just move these points around. Let's hit Command Y. It's a dark green shape. Doesn't look nice, right? But wait till I'm done. Wait till I hit the eyedropper and hit the different shades and make it look like natural. And if it's off like this, I can still fix it. Let me just grab these further. I think I have to bring the mango a little closer. So let's just use the mango here. I think I'm just gonna do this a bit here. Just to bring the mango up a bit. Right? And now here comes the fun stuff. You ready for this one now? Same thing. White selection tool, eyedropper tool. Go back and forth. Just get mentally used to it, right? Eyedropper, white selection tool, eyedropper, white selection. Then you go to the direct selection tool and you hit these other colors, like the brighter greens, the brighter green here, the other green over here. I'm gonna catch every little point. It looks like a lot of work, but it's not once you kind of do it all together. You ready? Command Y. Look at that. Just from having like a simple little shape to something like this. Right? And to make it look even better, what I would honestly do is send this to the back. Like I would send this to the back of the mango fruit. So it doesn't, or maybe it looks more natural like this. I don't know. What do you think? Right? Whichever way you think it looks better. Maybe I can trim up the edge a bit here. Just move it up. It's more naturally formed. No one's going to zoom into that level, but people will see this, right? Then there's a little shadow in the back. It's pretty easy. Then you mimic the three-dimensional, implementation of the object on, on something like a background. So to make this little drop shadow here, we don't have to use any other special technique. All you do is this. You just draw a simple elliptical shape like that. Make it black, solid black. Okay. Move it back here. Right? This black shape right here. Go to Effect, Stylize. Sorry, Sketch. Where was it here? No, I'm in Photoshop Effects. Oh, oops, sorry. Feather. Stylize feather. Feather is how you smoothen the edges on objects. So if you do feather, watch what happens. So you smoothen the edges. Just go more and more and more. Up, 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 up. Look, I'm going to go to like 30, 40, 50. 50-point feather. Right? So it's a feather. You can always increase this or decrease it, whatever you want. And then drop the opacity to like 50%. Maybe more, maybe 25%. Maybe 15%. Right? And then guess what? Send it to the back. Right click arrange. Okay, send to back. And there it is. So now you made a drop shadow. Technically, I can go now, use the layers palette. I gotta hide the image to see exactly what I did. Maybe I made it too muted. So maybe I'll increase the opacity to 30 or 40 or whatever points I want, right? But you can see the idea here. I got the drop shadow happening. Maybe the feathering. How do I make the feathering more or less? That's under appearance. So just remember, if you have to go back and edit the thing, do not ever, ever, ever go back here and apply another effect on top of the existing effect. If you do, it's going to say, what are you doing? Like, don't do that. Okay, I won't say that. It'll say, it'll apply another instance of this effect. Just don't ignore this and click apply new effect. It's going to honestly double it up. It might crash your computer. It might even mess up the existing one. Just hit cancel. Know that if you have any effect like shadows and glows and stuff, always go to appearance, and you can access everything there. If you select it, look, there's the feather. Just click on it and you can edit the existing feather. I'm going to make it like maybe 75. Okay, so I can change the feather amount from there. Okay. 100. There we go. So 50% opacity at 100. Okay, there we go. Perfect. As you can see here, we fully recreated a whole mango fruit. If it's something organic like that, or like last week we did a gradients, multiple objects with, the eyes, the nose, the mouth. We got technical and stuff. This video here, we took a different approach using a mesh technique, and it's a little more organic looking. So you can either do something organic, something technical. There's nothing you can't do with these techniques I've shown you. I've shown you like the best of the best techniques. You can use solid colors. You can use blends. You can use mesh. You can use gradients. Whatever you want to do. It's all about the points and the objects. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and file save this. And let me see if you have any questions. One thing is, if you want to see how the edges look a little rough, right? You can always smooth out the edges. Just use the white arrow tool again, right? And just smoothen this out. Just make sure this is nice and smooth. You can always do, stuff like this. let me catch this one here. Gonna do, whoops, this one here. Right, so you just have to kind of do your own little detailing along the way to smoothen the edges if necessary, right? Sometimes the less points, the better, but depending on the, your approach and execution, maybe make these little handles smaller, if that helps sometimes. Right, make the handle smaller. That'll make it a little smoother. If that helps you, then you can do that. It's about the details, the very fine-tuned little details that makes this work better, okay? Okay, so let's again do a quick save here. Let's recap what we did today. So we did a straight demonstration on multiple things today. I really wanted to elevate this to today's like pretty much our last main lesson. Next week's gonna be like a workshop where I'm gonna do like an overall review, maybe help you answer some questions. I'll do like a smaller exercise reviewing some things, but pretty much after that, we're done. It's week 7, it's your work week, and you do your projects and ready for the next half of the semester, which we're gonna start with Photoshop. So today I kind of went all out on you. Okay, I went with showing you how to do a wireframe for a website, and you can take that to XD and make it an actual, like a prototype. I also went to show you some of how to use other advanced methods in fills. We did the blend, some example of that, using other fun stuff, to using the mesh tool and then put it into more practical use, which is tailored to you with the project that you're doing. We did a mango. We got a picture on the internet. Maybe we didn't do the texture. We'll save that for Photoshop because Photoshop does great textures, not Illustrator, to be honest with you. But Illustrator does really well is Illustrator does this, right? And we can definitely recreate anything. It even looks better sometimes. It's smoother. It's got that nice style of a clean illustration. If you have to do like icons and illustrations for a website, there you go. Okay, so that's how we did use this tool here. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up this recording right now. So I'm gonna hit the stop button, and then I'm gonna hang around and answer some questions and help you out if you do have any. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. We're at looks like it's 2 hours and 28 minutes, but I know it's less than that because we started a little later. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the stop button. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget next week I won't be here. So we'll try to do like a remote session with you, same time, same place. And then if I, for whatever reason, if I can't, my internet or whatever connection I don't have, I will put an announcement for you. But it will be like a workshop. So it's not really like an important class. It'll be like a review. This is the way I planned it because of my trip next week. I'll be in the good old city of Chicago in the US for 4 days, and I'll see you guys when I come back. You'll have the break week after that, and then I'll see you the week after that, actually. So stay safe and good luck on your projects, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.